Hello and welcome back to the Karma Stories podcast. I'm Rob and I hope you are having a wonderful day today. Today we're heading back into one of the most satisfying corners of Reddit, Malicious Compliance, where people follow the rules a little too well. We've got a furious customer who demanded to speak to the manager and instantly regretted it, a guy who technically outsmarts store policy just to save a few bucks, a high school bagger with Olympic-level sarcasm, and a Goose photo that sparked a workplace revolt and exposed a corporate crook. All that just from doing exactly what they were told. Let's jump right in. This story comes to us from SM Anya. Okay, you want me to follow company policy? I got you. I finally have my own malicious compliance story. I am a sales manager at a sales company with payment options for those who can't afford items at retail cash price at one setting. We have payment arrangements where if the card runs automatically, we can arrange smaller but more frequent payments in an effort to be more flexible. But since it's an automated computer system, we cannot make changes to it once it starts running due to it running the card 3 times at different times of the day. If the card declines the first time, my accounts team will right away call the customer in case the customer forgot to unlock the card or deposit money. This is where the customer is angry she's contacted. The customer tells the associate she wants to talk to her manager, so she's transferred to the general manager because the accounts manager is off. But the general manager doesn't even get to walk around the counter before the angry customer hangs up. So the general manager leaves on her lunch. 15 minutes later, I, the sales manager, answer the phone where angry customer is already losing it, and by chain of command, I have to get it and no longer have another person to transfer her to in store. The conversation. I'm trying to change my card on my profile, but it won't let me. I apologize. Let me help you because it does charge you in order to make changes, but if I do it, then it won't. I had a fraud, so I had to get a new card. It's stupid it won't let me change it, and that girl who called earlier is trying to overcharge me. Okay, give me your account details. She gives her account details. Okay, you have a due amount of $85. But I can take your arranged amount plus your late fee, making it $79. That's not my normal payment. My normal payment is $75. Yes, ma'am, but there's a late fee since your account was due on the 1st and your arrangement was due today, and it didn't go through. No, my due date was today. Sorry, ma'am, but all accounts are due on the 1st or the 15th. But if you make an arrangement and the computer processes it, then it waives all late fees. Otherwise, a manager has to do it, since the machine doesn't allow you to waive them when you have to make manual payments, referring to the associate not being able to take less than $85. Angry customer continues on the same tangent. I speak to my coworker while she's on mute. Oh my gosh, I'm just gonna waive her late fee and take her payment of $75 to shut her up. This is stupid. Let me talk to the GM. Ma'am, I can just help you. Going to take just the $75 and just interrupted. I want to talk to the GM. I tried to help her because the GM will get rude and often causes me to lose customers. Okay, but she's going to tell you the same thing if I help you. I was interrupted again before I can get to waiving fees. Just have the GM call me, and she hangs up. Me and coworkers start laughing because we know our GM and she will not only take our side but isn't afraid to put her in her place. Our GM has a severe case of resting bee-face on good days. 15 minutes later, angry customer nearly drives through our glass windows on how fast she came in and slammed the door. I was joking to an associate, "Who you piss off now?" not knowing it was me. I need a manager. That's me. How can I help you? I just spoke with the rudest person ever. She had a really bad attitude and doesn't know how to treat customers. Me thinking the associate is going to need some help learning to talk with customers. Okay, who did you talk to? Karen. I'm confused because we didn't have anyone by that name. I'm sorry, we don't have anyone working here by that name. No, I'm Karen. Karen McKaren. I realized she's the customer I just dealt with. Who did I speak with because she was stupid and rude and I want her out now? That would be me. And you're the manager? Yes, ma'am. And like I told you on the phone, due dates are on the 1st and 15th. Your payment arrangement is not a due date. It's your arranged date of payment. If you honor it, there aren't late fees. No, my due date is today. I don't get any late fees. Taking out her wallet. Sorry, but the computer just does what it's told, and the arrangement was on that card. Fine, but I'm talking to your boss. Throws 4 20s at me for the arranged amount plus late fee. Sorry, but that's only if your card goes through, as the arrangement called for. Your normal amount is $80 plus late fees, so it's $85. Since she's talking to my boss, I have to go by the book, so I can't take off fees or go with arrangements. Angry customers getting louder. Is there a corporate number I can call? You don't know how to do your job, nor how to treat a customer. I've been here many years, and never have I ever been talked to like this. She throws the rest in $1 bills at me. Coworker and associate all confused as they witnessed the whole thing, including phone call, knowing I never raised my voice or was impolite to her. Yes, ma'am, you see that number in the frame above the office? That is the number. Don't be snotty with me. What's your name? I'm over it by this point. Here, let me write it down for you. I take out my tiny ADHD notebook and tear out a piece. I write my first and last name with job title and hand it to her. Which one? Referring to the number. Coworker, tired of her BS and her yelling, grabs the frame off the wall. He's 6'2" and puts it in her face. Angry customer then takes a picture of it and continues to rant. You will be hearing from them. Okay, thank you. You should dress better and try some makeup. You look ragged and ghetto. Look at the girly associate. She looks more like a manager than you do. Probably can do your job better, stupid butt B. Just wait for me to catch you outside. Me in my uniform with my natural hair and great skin answers her. Okay, thank you, waving goodbye. My coworkers, aka the delivery guys and associate, were very confused on what just happened, and coworker who put the frame in her face said, "Didn't you say you were going to waive her fees?" Yeah, but she didn't let me get far enough to help her. Jumping down to the comments on this one, we have one from a user called Illuminatus Prime. It says, incidents like this are why I hated my first and only retail job. You just can't help some people, no matter how hard you try. I love customers like this. These are the ones that you just kill with kindness because they're being rude to you, they're all in a huff, and you're just sitting back going, okay then, well I'm sure I can help you. And then when they ask for the corporate phone number, you give them 1-800, eat shit. This story reminds me of when I was working for Rick because a customer would come in, ask to speak to the manager being completely irate, they would talk to Rick, and he would bend over backwards and give them everything they wanted. It was almost like they were getting rewarded for treating the employees in the store like absolute crap. But he was the boss and he had to look like the good guy. And it didn't matter if that put the employees down. Ugh, screw you, Rick. Screw you. This story comes to us from Araxis Denacia, on the receiving end by private individual. Thought I'd share a minor one that I was the victim of. At the time, I was working in the secondhand goods trade. When people bought items from us valued over a certain amount, the system would require us to take down the name and address of people. Though it didn't have to be a formal presentation of ID. Some people really didn't like it when we asked for their details, even if I told them that they could just make it up due to the informal nature of it. An older gentleman, who I'll call Bob, came in and wanted to buy a couple of coins. Individually, they were under the amount, but together they exceeded it. So I asked for his details. What do you need my name for? Store policy. Transactions over a certain amount require me to take your name and address, as we're a second-hand dealer. What's the amount? I tell him. So I'll just buy them individually then. I wasn't about to try and start an argument about it, so I just proceeded with the individual transactions. A little annoying, yes, but he was technically correct. Jumping down to the comments on this one, there's one from a user called Piehole. It says, that's a weird one to me. We have laws about needing to provide information when selling goods to a pawn shop or used goods store, but buying from one seems a bit daft and unnecessary. OP responded and said, honestly, not something I understood either. I was informed it was all part of legislation, but I couldn't find anything regarding buying in there. Just when people were selling to us. It did help to process warranties if people inevitably lost their receipts. There's a pretty easy way to deal with this one. They're not asking for ID, so you just give them a fake name, like, yeah, my name is Mr. or Mrs. Cash Sale. And my address? Oh yeah, no problem. That's 1060 West Addison, Chicago. I have the best lawn in the whole city. Comment down below if you know what that address is without looking it up. This story comes to us from Zodiac72826. My manager told me I needed to offer to help everyone carry their groceries to the car. Sounds good. This is probably super mild compared to most things posted here, but I just remembered it and it made me laugh, so here goes. When I was in high school, far longer ago than I care to admit, I was a bagger at a local grocery store. One of the policies of the store was that we had to offer to help everyone take their groceries out to their car. Anytime someone elderly or someone with a lot of bags came through the line, I would offer to help, and many of them accepted. There were a lot of parents with kids that turned down the help because they would make their clones help instead. I quickly learned who was going to accept the offer and who wasn't. So if they fit the criteria for not being interested in help, I didn't bother to ask. They always refused, so why keep asking? Well, one day my manager is hovering while I'm bagging, and a lady bought a carton of eggs and a loaf of bread. I smiled and wished her a nice day, handing her the single featherweight bag, and she smiled and returned the greeting, and was on her way. My manager noticed I didn't offer to help her out, and scolded me, and I just pointed out she had one partially filled bag that was super light, so probably wouldn't have needed help. He emphasized it was the store policy, and I needed to offer to help everyone. The next guy in the line was definitely a gym rat, a foot taller than me, biceps as big as my head, a tight tank top and basketball shorts. It's been so long I can't remember what he bought, but it occupied a single bag and wasn't heavy. I double bagged it, still in front of my hovering manager, and said, "Sir, would you like me to help you carry all of your groceries out to your car?" He laughed, saw I wasn't also laughing, and his expression changed to utter confusion. He looked at me like I'd just asked him what shampoo he used on his armpit hair. It was 95% confusion, 5% suspicion at what game I could be playing with him. He looked at my manager with a new look and said, "Is this kid okay?" Then turned back to me, still chuckling a little bit in confusion, and said, nah man, I think I got it." He took his bag of protein powder and eggs, or whatever it actually was, and walked out, shaking his head. I looked at my manager and shrugged. His expression read as, "Yeah, alright, fine," and he went back to the office. He never hovered or enforced the policy again after that. Like I said, super mild and short compared to a lot of posts on here, but it was my first case of malicious compliance, so hopefully you guys got a laugh out of it as well. Jumping down to the comments on this one, we have one from a user called Kipster Dude. It says, "It never dawned on me for some reason that it might be store policy. I used to wonder why grocery store baggers would offer to help me bring a gallon of milk to the car." Okay, personal experience on this one because my first job when I was 15 or 16 or somewhere around there was as a front-end clerk, a bagger, and a cart collector at a grocery store. And I can tell you, for some people, I'd ask them if they wanted help getting their groceries to their car, just so I could get away and get outside for a few minutes. I definitely had a few regular customers who I told this when I was outside with them, and so they would do this on a regular basis. I really wouldn't have to do much. I would just walk outside with them, carrying their bags for them of course, but they'd put them in the car themselves. They knew I just needed a break, and they were happy to give me one. This story comes to us from The Farzin. Shredded my goose pic? My homie crushed his boss's rules and exposed his dirty secret. My friend Idris recently shared this wild story from his first job, and I'm still shook. Idris was 17 when he started at this grimy call center. Back home, he's got a whole crew of geese in his yard. He's obsessed with them, treats them like pets, and has a favorite named Blinchek, Russian for pancake. He brought a little wallet-sized photo of Blinchek to work, just to keep his spirits up in that depressing dump. But his boss, Dave, saw it and flipped out. Dave had this hardcore rule: no personal items on your desk, it's about professionalism. Meanwhile, his own desk was a trash heap. Old mugs, random figurines, even some rusty fish statue. Idris says Dave had these weird tics. He'd go from passive-aggressive whispers to fake nice vibes in a heartbeat. Total oddball. Anyway, Dave clocked the Goose photo and went nuclear. He made Idris rip it to shreds in front of everyone, muttering about rule breaking. Idris, just a 17-year-old kid, froze. He had no clue how to stand up for himself back then, and just did it. He says he almost cried, but held it together so he wouldn't look weak in front of them. Blinchek's photo was toast, and Dave smirked like he'd just won something. Idris wasn't letting it slide. Dave wants me to obey? I'll maliciously comply with him. Next day, he rolled in with nothing. No pen, no notepad, no headset. When Dave asked what the deal was, Idris hit him with, "You said no personal items. I'm waiting for the company to hook me up." Dave lost it, but Idris doubled down. "It's your rule." The team jumped in, half of them stopped bringing their stuff too, and the whole operation tanked. Customers were raging on the phones, calls were dropping, and Dave was scrambling to make everyone work normally. Eventually, he caved and mumbled, "Fine, bring what you need, just keep it low-key." Idris came back with a fresh Blinchek photo and slapped it on his desk. Dave didn't say squat. But it gets crazier. A couple weeks later, Dave tried to fire Idris for insubordination. Idris, now sharper, had recorded the whole no personal items freakout on his phone, legal where we're at, and sent it to HR with a rundown of Dave's hypocrisy. HR didn't axe Dave, but they gave him a slap on the wrist, and he chilled out. Then, the real bomb hit. Turns out, Dave had been skimming cash from the petty cash box for years. Small grabs, but steady. Idris says he cooked up the rule obsession to keep everyone stressed and off his trail. He'd snag money from the drawer, supposedly for coffee, paper, office junk, and mark it as office needs. It added up to a hefty chunk, though no one's dropped an exact number. His weird mix of passive-aggressive jabs and over-the-top strictness kept newbies like Idris too spooked to dig deeper. That photo meltdown, Idris figures Dave was just flexing to throw everyone off his scent. Dave got busted when a senior coworker noticed the office expenses weren't lining up. They canned him, and later even filed charges. Idris says he's still stoked about how he accidentally took down a crook by playing Dave's own dumb game. Blinchek's still sitting in his yard with the rest of the geese, honking at anyone who steps too close. So Reddit, what's the call? Is Idris the king of payback? Jumping down to the comments on this one, we have one from a user called Zorby1. It says, Dave screwed himself by getting folks to hate him. I doubt anyone would have noticed the skimming unless it came up in an audit. As for the senior coworker, he may have noticed the discrepancy or simply didn't like Dave and figured he's worth watching for violations, and he got lucky. A good manager doesn't make a spectacle out of enforcing the rules with one employee, but in Dave's case, it looks like they just wanted to get all the attention they could because they're the manager, and everybody should look up to them. Fortunately, with managers like this, it usually is only a matter of time before somebody puts them in their place. Dave just made it easier by committing fireable offenses that somebody found out about. And that's where we'll leave it for today, with a teenage goose whisperer outsmarting his power-tripping boss, exposing his fraud, and walking away like a legend. If you're listening on the podcast, hit that follow button, and if you're on YouTube, smash that subscribe button harder than Dave smashed the petty cash. I thank you for watching and listening. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.